Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shred and Soul.
I'm Shred, a.k.a. Kevin Wood.
And I'm Soul, a.k.a. Wind Hughes. We have a fun episode for you today. We have another great malfunction flashback. I won't tell you what it is. Kevin will introduce it, but it's really amazing. I'm blown away by it and amazed by it. Hope you are too. And then we have something different that we're going to do. But first, I want to let you know that we've started with our first post. So we want to post interesting things for you to see, whether it's photos or thoughts that you can comment on. And then this one was on seeing 333 everywhere, which we have for years. We tend to see 333, 222, all of those esoteric, wonderful doorways and reminders.
1111.
1111.
Another one.
Yeah. And 333 is specific to malfunction. Do you want to explain?
Well, it is kind of a number that we recruited for ourselves, in that we were a three-piece band at the time, and so it was three. And then the 333 was supposed to be the opposite of the 666, because there was a lot of satanic bands, and that was like a trend in the early 80s. Not to say that there weren't some pretty good satanic bands, though. But that's where that came from. So we see them all the time. 333, it's everywhere.
It never fails. So we posted some pictures.
Andy actually had that in a lot of the lyrics. He referenced 333. So it might have had some bigger meaning for him than what I'm remembering. Because I know it's a mystical kind of thing, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, the Trinity.
The Trinity.
Could be any number of things. It does add up to 9, though, which is the exact same thing as 666.
Well, in a numerology, it's a very cardinal number. It's a very powerful number.
Yeah.
So when I see 333, I think, of course, of malfunction. I also think of the esoteric, the Trinity, and the the pyramids, all the triads in sacred geometry. I think of that, and I think of it as Andy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, 333, malfunction. Hi, Andy. And Andy's saying hi.
Yeah, I get a big hit of Andy when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we posted a post and a few pictures, and then asked people who have 333 photos themselves, which a lot of fans do. They'll send them to Kevin. And we've started getting those in. So send those to our Gmail, shredandsoul@gmail.com, and then we will download them and add it to the end of episodes. And today we'll have the first 333 images from a listener. Mm-hmm. And what else are we going to include?
Oh, we still have some cat photos that
we're going to include them today.
Put together a reel. We've got a reel ready to go. Yeah,
great when listeners send us your cat photos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
that's what we're doing at the end. And now we wanted to talk about just an aspect of being in the world today. It's easy to see that the news or the exchanges, the information we're getting is often very negative and frightening and instills fear. And we talk a lot about what it's like in the world. We don't look at the news hardly ever. And we do have headlines that'll come up as we're looking at our phones, and sometimes click on them, sometimes not. But I'm always amazed in the morning is when I tend to look at my phone for business and see if I have messages. I
think they call that doom scrolling.
Doom scroll. Well, doom scrolling when you're purposely going there.
Well,
right?
A lot of times your feed is full of it.
It is doom and gloom.
You see something that catches your eye, or like a bomb explodes or something like that. And
well, lately it seems like a lot of murders. Children and families, and I look at it and think, oh my goodness, is there not anything else you could post? There's so much good happening in the world today.
Yeah, start looking at arson stories.
That's the good in the world. Oh, yeah.
You won't get murders, you'll get arsons.
Are you looking at arson?
No, I'm just saying as an example.
Because of the fires?
I started getting tired of seeing all of this stuff, and so I just started looking at funny things. Like, something that caught my eye was the Bigfoot vlog. It's like a AI generated Bigfoot that tells off-color jokes.
Yeah,
it's really
silly
funny.
jokes. Yeah, I get a lot of cat stuff and parrot stuff
cats are
and
big,
esoteric
too,
stuff. All kinds of theories about how we got here and where we're going. A lot of sacred geometry. So today we wanted to share with you sort of the beginning of adding these periodically, because I know we've done a podcast or two about headlines
I
and
sense
stuff.
another segment.
Another
title
segment
here.
coming. Do we have
Good
a lot
news,
of segments? Are we
good
writing
news
them
of-
down?
Yeah, good news of the world.
Good news of the world?
Yeah,
Yeah, non-shit happening.
yeah.
So there is an amazing magazine. It used to be in print. It was called Ode, ODE back in the day. And I've had that coming into my box and now my feed for years. And now it's called The Optimist. They changed quite a while ago. And it's an amazing journal in a sense. And if you don't know about it, you can get on their newsletter. You don't have to necessarily subscribe, but I encourage you to do so. It comes in pretty much every day, and if you have their daily feed, and everything in it is positive, life affirming, and innovative in a really good way. And it's not ignoring the ills of the world, but often it may share a solution or a suggestion or an idea of how to address these issues. We're not left with the fear mongering and the world's going to end and everyone's starving and dying and what are we going to do? This is very affirming in a really wonderful way. So we're going to share just a few interesting facts we picked up from The Optimist recently.
Yeah. One of the interesting things and something that really applies to where we live is a new device that it's a tiny fire detector inspired by nature. It looks like a pine cone and it's made out of some meltable product.
Wax, it said.
Wax. Yeah, looks like a pine cone.
It's sealed in wax, yeah.
And when it gets hot enough, it melts down and transmits a beacon out to indicate that there's been a radical change. It's the size of a pine cone, and it's got an internal heat-based sensor that melts away after it melts away, and then it releases a low-frequency signal that has a range of about 30 miles. So it's kind of interesting, too, in that, the redwood trees that we live amongst will drop a pine cone, or it's not a pine cone, it's their cone. It's a
tiny little pine cone.
Yeah. But, I think a pine cone would probably be for a pine tree. But let's not break it down and get ridiculous about it. Basically, this seed opens up when it's exposed to fire. So it's naturally, the fire happens, the trees come up, and but in other forests, that's not going to happen. We have forests here in California that are just dry. They're covered with these oak trees that just go up, and all of the underbrush. And it'll rip through, if it gets going, it'll rip through a redwood forest, burning the understory out. So,
well, that's one of the things about the redwoods. And we were surprised because we'd be sitting here and hear this bang on the roof and go out, and it's this tiny little pine cone looking thing, green, not dry. And it's so loud because it comes from so high. And then, Kevin, you found this information somehow that this is one of those pine cones that the seeds can't propagate unless they've been in fire. And the fire pops them open just like this. What is it called? A pyri? P-Y-R-I? Pyri?
Pyri, I want to say pyri.
Pyri?
Yeah.
It says the name is derived from... glasses, please. The name is derived from pyriscience. Did I say that right? Pyriscience, which is the scientific term for ways some species adapt to fire. And so it's a great name for this product.
Yeah, it is. It's very fitting. And, it seems like it could be a game changer in warning people about oncoming fires. Because, like I said, they can go very quickly. Yeah. I think up to 20 miles per hour. So
that's a long way.
having some sort of, early warning.
Yeah.
And they're talking also about linking this data to other things like AI, weather models, wind patterns, heat distribution systems, and using that to, with these new devices, coordinate a very pinpointed reaction to what might turn into a devastating fire. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to them getting that out.
I think it's a great invention.
It's great news.
And they say it's sustainable by design, that it's safe for the environment. They drop this thing from planes, and it's designed so that people and animals will not see it. It just blends in. In fact, they said in their experiments with this, they actually couldn't find one. They had a sensor, but they could not find it. So it's made of sustainable products, and I don't remember what it said the transmitter is made of, but they're very conscious, aware.
Yeah, they
company.
want to leave no trace of
No
it
trace.
after it, does its job, because it's supposed to melt away.
Yeah.
But, one thing does kind of concern me is that they're dropping those things out of planes. What if they hit a raccoon on the head or something?
Well, I'm assuming from what I read, because they were talking about dropping them from planes, that's how they place them in a forest, but maybe they don't. Maybe they place them by hand.
They said
So,
planes, but it would make
yeah.
sense. And I'm joking about the raccoons.
Well, no, you could hit on the head with one of our little pine cones. We'd probably get a hole.
Well,
That thing
these
goes
things
so
are
fast.
We'll show. Here's the picture.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't want to get hit by one.
No.
But anyway, it could be a game changer for us here in California.
It looks like
and
a pine
other
cone.
places. I mean, these fires are going all up and down the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's just, you're in nobody's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really it gives me a positive feeling knowing that there's a lot of research being done and actual companies now producing products that are so sane. It's expensive to have satellite imaging and stuff, and this is something that a company could actually acquire, place in the surroundings or communities, and then I guess they pay a subscription for things to be monitored and to be notified if there's a fire. But what a sane, relatively inexpensive way to make some positive changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good news.
Yeah, good news. The next thing is, hang on to this one. The title is The Surprising Power of Penguin Poop. How guano, is it guano?
Guano.
Guano,
Yeah.
like bat-made clouds, may help cool the planet. So basically, let me read some of this because it's really interesting. They were doing some research in Antarctica, and it found that penguins' poop releases, and make get this right, releases ammonia into the air, just naturally releases it into the air. And since they are by the ocean, the waters release is phytoplankton activity releases sulfur, and that the sulfur and the ammonia create clouds. And it's not so much that these clouds rain, and that it
Seeds them.
It seeds the clouds, and the clouds block the sun. So in areas such as Antarctica, which is what this article talks about, they're wanting to slow down the melting and to balance and mitigate some climate shifting. That's just naturally happening as the cycles of nature progress. We go through different cycles. And so this is we hear about cloud seedings, such as the cloud seeding that was done just before some of this recent flooding. I mean, I'm from a generation when I knew HAARP decades ago existed, and everyone denied it, and the government denied it. And then they came out and said, yes, it's happening.
Now they're admitting it. So,
Yeah. So, geoengineering, bioengineering, we're rearranging, re-engineering everything, including our weather.
Yeah.
But this is interesting because this is an example of how when the earth and our nature is in balance, we have our own cloud seeding with phytoplankton mixing with the ammonia from penguin poop.
It's been unseasonably cold here, in Northern California. This is July, and it was in the 50s when we got it.
Yeah.
Unheard of. So
It's been a cool summer.
penguins to blame for this, perhaps?
No, I think we need more penguins.
Yeah.
We need more poop, more penguins.
That's true. And, think about it. If the penguin population was left alone for all this time, and they weren't used to start fires or to feed sharks or whales or using them for bait or, whatever they did when they were conquering the Antarctica, we might live in a different world right now.
Well, I'm thinking of how poop gets a bad rap. Think of all that cattle. They can't even poop without someone saying they're destroying the world, right? And now we have a different way of looking at poop. Besides fertilizer, which is a wonderful thing, we can maybe propagate more penguins and increase the poop in the penguin land.
Chickens almost the same size as penguins?
Yeah, but I have no idea if they have the same consistency of their poop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd have a lot of seeding going on.
Or maybe
we have a lot of chickens.
Ducks would be more like it, because you see a duck will poop in the water, and the water's got plankton in it. Maybe it does the same thing.
This could be your next research project. This one's on Kevin.
Maybe I'll get a grant.
Okay. I grant you the task of researching if there's any similarity of chicken poop or duck poop to penguin poop, and would it have the same effect on clouds?
And how can we use it to save the environment?
Seed clouds.
Yeah,
okay.
Seed clouds.
Now, next.
Kenya, on track for universal electricity access by 2030. Universal electricity. We take electricity for granted. It's like, can you believe there are people on this planet who don't have electricity?
Yeah. Did you look at the stats on that in there?
Okay, here's some stats. 37% in 2013, but 79% in 2023. That's a big increase for Kenya.
That's of how many people, percentage of the population has access to electricity.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Think of that, 2013, only 37% of the population in Kenya had access to electricity, and now it's 79%. And for a while now, the urban areas have had power, but they're looking at it in terms of the more rural segments.
Yeah. Project LMCP, Last Mile Connectivity Project. They're going to try to bring on 280,000 people or households into the grid. And these are rural areas, which, can you imagine? I mean, this is like the pioneer days that we, suffered through back in the 1800s. People are still doing that.
Or last winter. I'm going to post a picture. We had 8 days without power. And so we have a wood stove intentionally. And you can see the picture of me drying my hand-washed laundry in front of it. And a pot for cooking. It was also a pot when we'd heat the water for washing and bathing. But I'll show you our setup for when we lose power. And that's even with the generator, but the generator only runs the refrigerator and a certain number of other things. So, cooking, things like that.
The phone chargers, the TV, the cable.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that'll run.
Internet, yeah.
But yeah, you're washing your clothes, drying your hair. I mean, so you'll see our setup. Here's the picture. Well, there's our laundry hanging by the wood stove. Took a long time to dry. And here's our cooking. Pots and pans and heating up things. It takes a long time to heat food on the stove and to wash with that water at the sink. It actually is fun. It
was an eye-opener for me because I didn't... What was the... You take a bowl into the shower and pour it over yourself to bathe?
We did it as... We called it sponge bathing, where you wash out of the sink. You fill the sink, and at night, if you're going to shower in the morning or whatever. When we were kids, sometimes we'd do that. And I said, I filled my stainless steel bowl with hot water and said, I'm going into the bathroom. I'm going to sponge bath. And you had no idea what I was talking about.
No. I was thinking, it's going to be a few more days possibly before I can take a shower. But
Thank God that didn't happen.
And I thought it was not difficult at all.
It's easy. It's warm water.
Yeah.
You only put a little warm water and you put a little cool over it, and
I would have never survived back in the 1800s. I think about Kenya. Okay, it's nice and sunny in Kenya, right?
A lot of torrential rains too. They have monsoons.
Well, I've never been there. I wouldn't even be able to describe it to you. But think about the people who lived here in Northern California. Not to mention the Native Americans that lived around in the, out on the coast and up the river valleys and stuff. But the people who came here afterwards and were living here year round with no electricity in the cold and cutting down all the trees.
Yeah. And you think now, here we are with a world where people are plugging in their cars to charge their cars, and there's still almost 30% of Kenya doesn't have any power at all.
Kenya leads the way in renewable resources.
Yeah, that was a good fact. Here?
Yeah. 1 in 5 households uses solar-powered mini-grids or standalone systems, a testament to the country's commitment to inclusive renewable electrification. Off-grid systems, that's a great idea, and I wish I could go off-grid, but they don't make it that easy here in California, do
No, you can go off-grid, but you have to meet crazy... Interesting, I looked into that to make sure I was knowing the law here accurately, because you can get solar power, and then they hook you into the grid as well, and you can sort of sell back your power. Some counties require it. But the law here says, which I was glad to see, that you can be completely off-grid, but you have to meet all of the county codes, which are so stringent here, it makes things impossible. And it's interesting because when we lived in New Mexico, a lot of people there have solar power. And when you look at the description here, it makes it sound like the old days. It says, well, you won't be able to wash your clothes if you're fully off grid, and you won't be able to do all these things. Life's going to be tough. And this was on government descriptions of what's viable and legal. And I'm laughing because in New Mexico, people ran huge homes on their solar facilities at their house. They had big batteries. They ran everything, refrigerators, stoves, the earth ships, and just homes in general. There's a lot of solar power there.
Nice and sunny there.
Yeah, a lot nice and sunny there, but cold too.
It can be brutally cold, but the sun's out.
Sun is out charging those batteries. But you can run a household on solar power. It's absolutely not true that you can't. You just have to have sizable enough batteries, one, and then enough, large enough array of solar panels.
Yeah, you have to have some way to store the energy.
To collect and store, yeah. I think people often don't realize that part of it. It's not just the panels. You have to store all that power. And for when a cloudy day comes, you need backup.
Well, go Kenya. That's what I say, and that's good news. I like that.
Yeah, what they're doing, and for us to really be grateful for what we have. Look how many lights we have on in here right now.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
And we've got a lighting array in front of us. We've got a camera plugged in. We've
lights
got
in the room,
a computer recording of the audio. We've got
mics,
our regular household lights.
Yeah.
There's
an air.
That thing's running.
Yeah, an air purifier. And internet's on. I mean, it's just, we are hot water.
Almost every single outlet in our house, we've got something plugged into it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
You should see my room. I've got all my amps plugged in, recording interfaces,
all your computers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I feel amazingly grateful and really happy that countries such as Kenya are receiving development. And they have... as you said, most of their households now are working on solar, 1 out of 5, and the country now is one of the largest leading countries in alternative power.
They also have a program over there for clean cooking. Now, I know that clean cooking has got to be cooking that you do perhaps on a electric grill or something electric, because if your energy is coming from a renewable, then you're not really polluting, you're just getting electricity. So if you are burning wood, then of course that's probably what they're talking about, non-clean ways of cooking. Unclean. That would pollute the air and deforest the region. After a certain amount of time, you're going to cut down all the trees. I know they did that in Greece. They have a real problem over there with wood and the availability of firewood when it gets really cold.
Well, they have a lot of clean... In fact, I remember reading an article when it was Ode magazine, in The Optimist, and one of the things they were looking at was in Africa and some other remote regions, they were bringing in these solar-powered ovens. And they'd bring these little solar units to these villages so people could have periodic power for certain things. And they had these solar ovens and solar cooking capabilities. So they would bring it to the community and it would be shared. Some households could afford their own, but the communities have these shared facilities that were all solar powered way out, into the remote areas of Africa. And that was a long time ago I read it. So that's probably, because it doesn't say here what they're referring to.
I hope that's, a viable way to cook and not like some, easy bake oven or something.
No, it wasn't.
Well, good. What is it like? I don't know.
You can't even cook in an easy bake. That's what you mean, right?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't want it to be rinky-dink.
No, these were solar panels, and they generated full current.
Oh, so the panels created the electricity.
Yes.
And,
the oven came with a panel.
Oh, okay. Because I thought maybe it's an oven that you put out in the sun. I'm thinking, well, what if it's monsoon season?
Well, they have those, what do you call the ovens, like Justin makes with the brick?
Yeah.
They're old, but it's burning wood. But they have appliances that have their own little solar pack on it, and it runs them, and they're full ovens and stoves. And yeah.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah. Yay. See, aren't you feeling happy now, hearing about some good stuff instead of horrible stuff? I particularly wanted to talk about the next one. Women have been at a disadvantage financially up until very, very recent, and in many countries still. But here in the Western world and in the U.S., it's been very, very difficult for women to get credit, to get the education, the financial education they need to be well versed.
This is new to me because and I'm not saying it's not real, because I know now that when I was a kid, I had no idea of finances at all. Okay, parents paid for everything. My mom wasn't allowed to have a checkbook or a credit card. And that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, yeah. And it was same for me. When I was early on my own, I couldn't get couldn't get credit. I couldn't get a loan. I lived in a world where women did not have legal access to most of the things men did. And it changed early on in my adulthood. But this is a company called Female Investment out of Denmark. And they are I guess like a brokerage firm, and they teach women how to invest and how to handle money. And I don't just mean a checkbook and how to pay the bills, but how to invest and how to make money. And these programs, there are about 4 women that work together. They've secured $23 million to expand these training programs so that they will make financial literacy the norm for women and not the exception. And even recently, I was reading a stat, in fact, I think it was somewhere in this article too, that about 1% of all money goes to women, funding women's programs and projects. 1%. And I know when I was doing, a couple of decades ago, the Daughter Sisters Project, and we were looking for grants, the amount of money that was granted to nonprofits that were working with women and girls, which is what we were doing, called the Daughter Sisters Project then, is like 2%, 4% of all funding available. That's how little went to anything related to women and girls. So women and girls have been at such a disadvantage, and money is power. Money is independence. And so you look at that, and how long has it been that women have felt trapped at home, trapped in a bad situation, or unable to support themselves and their families? So reading about this company made me really smile. I love that they're bringing this, and they're getting a lot of funding now. So they're looking for funding for female-led startups to support women in learning how, and the education too, and just changing this situation in general. And they're supporting financial empowerment. And this is a Danish company. And it's interesting, a lot of these companies that we've talked about, Finland, Denmark, African, where that was a London company, I think, an English company. So it's interesting that this money often is coming from other parts in the world. So this money is, like I said, Danish women, and they're funding financial courses, webinars, all kinds of training to ensure that women, regardless of income level, can gain financial confidence. And I can definitely say, having worked with many, decades of being a therapist and a coach, that women in general are handicapped financially, and often it's the man in the relationship that handles the money. And I can't tell you how many women say still, I don't know how many checkbooks we have or where our money is in the bank. And I know we have investments, but I have no idea what it is.
It's amazing that that's so commonplace.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't handle the money. I don't know how much the mortgage is. I don't know how much our taxes are. I want to learn, but I don't know where to start. And so I always encourage them to, look for foundations or training programs that teach women how to invest money. What is a bond? What are CDs? How does the stock? I don't even know very well how the stock market works. I know some. You know some, but as a woman,
I don't know hardly anything. And men aren't born with an innate ability to manage money.
No, but they have access to the information and the training and are encouraged to do so.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
I feel like I could benefit from some knowledge of that myself. And I think a lot of people
can.
Yeah, but I think the women, this program gives the women a nice little boost because they've been so oppressed for so long, and so that's good.
It says here, this is in the article about them. And again, all these articles come from the Optimist Journal. Women face both structural and psychological barriers when it comes to investing. The finance industry has historically been built by and for men, that's so true, making it less accessible to women. In addition, societal conditioning teaches men to take risks with money, while women are often encouraged to be cautious. And isn't that the thing? The typical stereotype of the woman going to the man and saying, "Can I have some money? I need to buy some groceries." And the man saying, and this is like in the movies, right, from the 1950s, and the man is saying, "I just gave you some money. Where did it go? Here's $5. Women just not knowing that they could navigate this and have that confidence. So I encourage you, if you're a woman listening to this and you don't know much about finances, you don't know about savings accounts, about 401ks, about money markets, all just basic stuff that sounds very overwhelming. You don't know how credit works. I didn't know that at one point in my young adulthood, and I made some, stupid mistakes that I wouldn't have made had I had more knowledge. So I encourage you to, there's a lot out there, go get the knowledge and start taking control and be empowered by knowing that you can acquire this information and you can manage and invest money very successfully. Go do it.
Yeah, and if you're not a woman and you want to learn about this stuff, it's, cracking that code on the financial industry could be your path to making all kinds of money. I have no idea how it works. I'm like one of those people that is not well versed in much of that at all. I could stand to learn a thing or two, but this is good news. I'm glad that this group is doing this.
And I get this every day, so we'll share more and more.
And it's just not right that that happened and continues to happen. It's still repercussions from the old days are still with us today, and a lot of the attitudes. So good news.
Yeah. So what did we find out today? I feel like let's review. We learned about fire detectors that are shaped like pine cones that alert us. Penguin poop and saving the planet and seeding clouds.
May not be saving the planet.
Right? And Kevin's going to find out if chicken poop does the same.
Yeah, then maybe we'll start a side business. Kenya, for getting everybody on the grid or a grid of their own. I mean, think about it. All you need is electricity, power up your Starlink, and boom, you're
got a business
on
going.
Amazon.
Yeah.
The Amazon van's driving
I don't know
across
if
the
that'd
jungle.
be an advancement.
Yeah.
And then Female Invest, the company that's educating and empowering women about investments and money.
Yeah.
See, I feel better already. I do.
You know what?
I feel good.
I do too. I feel hopeful.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not so hopeful, but relieved in a way.
Positive. There are good things happening in the world all the time, and we're going to make sure that we periodically share them with you. All right, now.
So, what everybody's been waiting for. This is a clip of me warming up before a show. And this show was at the Point Casino in Kingston, Washington. And
it was a great show.
It was a fun show. And it was a shakeup of sorts, though, in the lineup. But that's another story for another time. I hired a film crew to come in. They put a GoPro on my guitar neck and then filmed me from the front and edit it together. And this is just me in the green room.
Warming up.
Warming up.
And is this how you always warm up?
Yes. I play a lot better if I warm up. That's always been the case. Sometimes, though, like if the show gets delayed, I warm up too much, I get out there and I go, oh, I just played my ass off in the green room and not much left. But
I know
that
it's
doesn't happen very
essential
often.
because I remember there was a time when we were just starting to have more shows, and a lot of shows in the big early times were in the Northwest, and you would say to me, don't let anyone come in the green room until this time.
Mm-hmm.
I need to warm up, and I need that time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's totally important. Fingers are doing something unusual, so they need to get accustomed to that and get the circulation, the nerves all firing, so get into the groove. So that's what that is.
So enjoy this one and see whether you can actually see what his fingers are doing, or if you can see in this clip why I call him Guitar Ninja, because sometimes it's just a blur.
This is just the eye.
Right, man.
That was great. See what I mean? There are times you can't see his fingers. They're a blur. He's so fast.
It's in the picking, though. A lot of it's in the picking. So, but maybe someday I'll give a lesson on what I do. I don't know what I'm doing a lot of times. It's just automatic, you know. So
What does that mean? You do
breaking
know
it-
what you're doing, you don't?
Well, breaking it down, like if I'm playing with somebody and they say, "How did you do that?" and I have to go, "Well, I have to refigure it out because I."
You mean it's just natural to
It's
you
just
now?
natural, yeah.
It's entrained muscle memory. And
Yeah, it's like a string of consciousness.
It's not that you don't know what you're doing.
No, I couldn't explain it to you very well, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of guitar players are like that.
Yeah. That was great. I'm really glad that we included that one.
Mm-hmm.
And now, is there anything else you want to say about that?
No, that you know, that's out on my YouTube channel too. I have other posts of me shredding away, and lots of shorts and stuff. So go check that out. Kevin Wood, YouTube, whatever. And
Okay.
we should put a link to that. Did we ever do that?
I think we had it. I think I do have it.
Okay.
In the description maybe, or maybe your website. I'll double check.
Yeah.
So we also now want to include for you, let's do the cats first.
Yeah.
So here are some pictures of the cats
These
that
are
came
cats.
in from listeners, viewers. So here we go. Lisa sent in 3 pictures. Here is Slinky, one of her adult children's cats. Look at that beautiful color fur. And here is Matilda, another one of her adult children's cats. And look at those eyes, so sweet. And she had to send in Ozzy, her amazing pup. So yep, we can do pups too. Aren't they sweet?
Cats are great.
Cats are wonderful. I was just reading an article today that said, I can't remember. Oh, it was from the John Edwards, the medium, from his newsletter. And it basically said that if your cat leaves, don't be upset because cats are here to protect us and guide us. And sometimes cats will leave for 3 weeks, 4 weeks and come back. But sometimes they'll leave and stay away, that they've taken the negative energy and completed their contract and their task here. So that we should be able to release our cats if they leave and know when they come back, it's because they took away whatever they needed to take away and now it's okay to come back. And I thought, I don't know if I'd be okay. I wouldn't be okay if Shanti left and didn't come back. I might imagine her contract was done with us, but I'd be devastated.
Well, you're going to miss the cat regardless. And I remember vividly my cat growing up. Her name was Maud. And I inherited her when my parents split up. And so I had her in this party house that I was living in. And you know, I took care of her, but she was an outdoor-indoor cat. And I remember she disappeared. And I remember that very last time she was sat on the stairs looking at me. That was the last time I saw her, and that image is just burned into my memory.
It's
Poor
sad.
cat. I don't really feel that she was. I think something happened to her, and so I feel, you know, I can't buy into that story and feel good about it. But it is what it is.
Yes. All right, how about now? We'll show you some 333 photos that listeners sent in.
Yes. Hey, these were sent in by Kenny. He says that they're following him everywhere. 2 in 1 day on the bus. Way to go, Kenny.
That's cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Please send in more 333 photos.
and,
Send them to shredandsoul@gmail.com.
And send, you know, any kind of ideas that you have. You know, I recently read an email from one of our listeners talking about mystical experiences around Andy. And I have to say that there are a lot of people experiencing just that from time to time and continually. And I, you know, it's really interesting to hear about that. Maybe we could talk about that
Do an
sometime.
episode.
Do an episode on that.
Yeah, you would if you would send in any of those experiences, we could accumulate them until we have a bunch and share your experiences hearing Andy or seeing Andy or psychic intuitive connections with him.
Yeah. I
That
think
would
that
be
would
nice.
be fascinating.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're at our end.
Yeah.
At our done. We're done.
We're done.
It was great to hang out with you. Please subscribe. It really helps us to subscribe in terms of the algorithms and the podcast getting out there. It's free. If you're on a large enough screen, in the lower right-hand corner, you will see a little square. Just click it, and it's the subscribe button. Otherwise, on the main page, the home page, you'll see a subscribe option, and it really helps us out. We appreciate it. Send comments to our email, or comment below is good too. Helps us with the algorithm.
Do thumbs down help with the algorithm too?
No.
Oh, don't do that then.
I don't know. It might be a response, but with comments and likes do help the algorithm and
constructive
subscribers.
criticism is always okay.
We like that.
Yeah.
It's been helpful in people, and and everyone's different. Some people say, "Oh, go longer." Some people say, "Shorter. The time's right." And today we're kind of on the longer end.
Yeah, we definitely did fill up the time.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
It was fun.
Looking forward to seeing you again
Yeah.
next week.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.